What is up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. I'm going to be talking about the right way to grow your business. There's wrong ways to do it and there's right ways to do it. Let's dive in. All right, well, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the podcast. As always, I'm grateful for you. Just a quick reminder, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to check out the Handmade Business Secrets podcast on Apple, Spotify, anywhere that you listen to podcasts. You're going to find this content where you can listen to it in the shop as you're working, as you're sanding. You don't have to watch my ugly mug on screen, okay? If you're listening to this on the podcast and you want to see some more visuals, get a better understanding of what's going on, you can always check this out here on YouTube. So with that being said, today's video, we're going to be talking about the right way to grow a business. I've got a lot of videos that are very tactical about these are the exact things that you need to accomplish. This video is going to be more about doing it the right way, the condition of your heart being correct, your intentions being correct, you keeping the main thing as you grow your business. And so I'm going to be talking a lot from a place of experience and also from a place where I see a lot of guys make mistakes, okay? I'm going to share my value system with you in this video. I'm not saying you've got to do it this way, but this is what I believe and this is what I adhere to. So inside of my life, my value system is made up of God, family, ministry, and business, okay? In that order. My own personal relationship with God being at the top, my relationship with my wife and my children, my family being second, my relationship to what I feel called to do and make a difference in other people's lives. And then lastly, my relationship to business, the ability to provide, the ability to put food on the table, the ability to plan for the future, all those things. That is the order in which I want to live my life. If you ask me, what are your values? What matters to you? That's what I would tell you. But many of us have values that we say are our top priorities or our top values. But if you audited our time and our attention, you would find that we don't live our lives in adherence to our values. If you were to audit your time, social media might be your top priority, and then Netflix, and then your kids, and then your business, and then your wife, and then your relationship with God, right? And so we have to constantly go back to what are my core values? Why are they my core values? And does my life and my time, my calendar, my finances reflect those being my core values, okay? So I want to talk a little bit about when you're growing your business, what you're going to be tempted to do, what you're going to be tempted to think, we're going to be tempted to double down on. But also let me say this, okay? When you're growing your business, there are sacrifices at times you have to make. Now, a sacrifice that I refuse to make, and I would encourage you to also refuse to make, is sacrificing your family on the altar of business, okay? Sacrificing your relationship with God on the altar of business. But there will need to be times that you double down and spend more time inside of your business. And so the mistake that I made during this season was that I was just driven by my ego and I was driven to grow. And I expected everybody around me to just understand it and to understand that this was how it needed to happen. If I could go back and do it again while I was in a season of really growing my business and pushing really hard on my business, I would have a lot more open communication with my spouse. And if you have older kids, communication with your kids about why you're doing it and what it looks like in the season that you're in. So we have some weeks that are just slammed busy. We're very busy, right? We have some weeks where we're backed off a little bit. And you need to be able to forecast and foresee that, hey, this coming week is going to be a really busy week, and have that conversation with your spouse. The mistake that I've made is that we've had really busy weeks. I've been oblivious to it and just gotten into it and gotten super disconnected from my family. As a man of the house or as a woman, as a spouse, you need to be prepared to have more communication around your schedule and what this season of your business requires from you and why. Why are we investing in it, okay? So that's number one. The second thing that I would say is that the longer that I've been in business, the more that I've realized that it's only fun if you have somebody to share it with. When you're growing your business, if you're doing it alongside your spouse and they're not involved in the business, let's say it's just you feel called to this endeavor, they've got a day job or they're watching the kids. Sometimes it's very easy to run to our business to deal with the pain of our marriages or our relationships that we don't know how to handle. I've learned to, and I've seen this happen so many times, where I've watched these guys that have grown really big businesses that I follow or that I listen to or whatever, and I notice that they're just working like 20 hours a day every day. They shout out their wives only enough to say, thank you for letting me work so hard, and not anything else. That's the extent of their love or admiration for their spouse. And those guys always end up getting divorced. or getting separated. And I hate to say that, but number one, if God is not at the center of your relationship and your marriage, and you can't humble yourself before God and before each other, pride always comes before the fall. And I tell you this because I've been in these instances, I've been in these moments where I was so prideful and I was so proud of what I was trying to accomplish that I couldn't humble myself enough to say, hey, I've made this the center of my life and not my relationship with God or my relationship with my family. And so it's really, really important. I would highly encourage you to focus on how can I humble myself before my spouse, before God, and make those the number one priority. But not just that, but also understand that if you build something awesome, but you have nobody to share it with, it's not any fun. Now, it's different if you're single and you don't already have a relationship, but if you have a relationship, don't sacrifice your relationship to build something awesome, to be sitting in your awesome thing all by yourself. The worst thing you could do is build something incredible and have nobody to celebrate it with. The last thing in this video, when talking about growing a business the right way, sometimes when you start a business, your spouse is not going to be on board. When I started Iron by Iron Woodworks, my wife was not on board. She wasn't. It was because I was arrogant. I was egotistical. I thought I had it all figured out. I was basically leaving a safe salary job to go do the super risky, scary thing. And so she was not on board with it. And I remember the moment when she looked at me in the face and said, "You don't have my blessing to do this." But I'd already done it. I'd already quit my job. I was already going down that road. And so it was kind of like, well, I don't know what to do now. What I could have done was that I could have become successful to spite her, or I could have become successful and then kept that success from her. But what I got some really good counsel on was to bring her in on my success as we started to see it. And the reality was, at that point in time in our marriage, I hadn't proven to her that I was capable of something like that. And I also hadn't proven to her that I could really be trusted in that regard. So one thing that you have to understand, especially if you have a spouse that is risk averse, as you're starting businesses, as you're doing these things, they appear very risky. And so you got to be prepared and be ready to earn the trust of your spouse, and then also love your spouse through all of their uncertainty and be able to bring them along for the ride with you once you become successful. It would have been very easy for me to hold that against her and look at it from the frame of like, well, you didn't support me on my journey. She did support me. She was just afraid, right? She didn't know what was around the corner. So you got to be able to, as you grow and as you scale the business, bring her in on the success and make it feel like it's yours together. Not, yeah, I did this in spite of you, but be able to let go of the fact that maybe she wasn't as confident as you were, or he wasn't as confident as you were, or whatever that situation is for you watching. And then once you become successful, bring them in on your success. Don't keep them on the outside. Let this be your thing together. With that being said, guys, I just wanted to make a short video talking to you really about the right way to build a business and the wrong way to build a business. The wrong way to build a business is to be super egotistical, super prideful. If you're married and you have kids, you cannot sacrifice them on the altar of business. But with that being said, there will be some sacrifices that have to be made along the journey. You just need to make sure that you communicate it to your family why, and always come back and double back down on family once you get through a difficult season or difficult time. So with that being said, guys, if you are looking for a free resource, be sure to check out the Handmade Business Secrets ebook in the description below. You can just enter your name, download that book for free. It's about 100 pages and it's really going to help you on your journey. So I love you all. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.